Austin 316 says I just whipped your... Sit there and call yourself the gorilla, yet you hee-haw out here like a jackass. What? I said shut up. You can kiss my ass.
Kumbaya, my lord, kumbaya.
What? And that's the bottom line, 'cause Stone Cold said so.
Welcome back to the Bottom Line Wrestling Cast, the career of Stone Cold Steve Austin. This week is episode 76, The 3 Stages of Hell, and we are covering February 2001. It is No Way Out, Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Triple H in a 2 out of 3 falls, 3 Stages of Hell match. I'm Mike Prue, joined by JV as always. JV, how you doing?
Doing good, man. Just tried watching some of WWE's Backlash that's on as we record this on a Sunday.
Yeah, me too.
That was very bad.
Yeah, currently right now is another cinematic match between the Street Profits and the Viking Raiders, and they've joined forces, and now they're the Viking Profits to go up against Tozawa and his gang of thugs. And currently at this moment, as I'm starting this show, they're using the Force to get a chicken leg out from a tree, and Tozawa has a giant ninja with him. It's a giant one. I think it's Shaq. It looks like Shaq. But anyway, that's what's going on in WWE, but we're going to go back in time to 2001 and go back to this No Way Out from February 2001. And
which I assure you, the Backlash pay-per-view we're going to cover. We're going to cover a match, but
yeah, Backlash is coming up soon. After WrestleMania.
No, not 17. Backlash. What am I talking about? No Way Out.
Yeah.
Which we're covering today is better than the Backlash that's on the network today.
Absolutely. All right, so before we get started with that, please give us a follow on Twitter at BottomLineCast. You can follow me, Mike Prue, at MPRU83 on Twitter. And you can follow JV at John Van Damage. John spelled with an H. Remember, with an H is the Alpha Johns. No H, the Beta Johns. You can also check our YouTube channel out if you'd rather listen that way. So go to Bottom Line Wrestling Cast on YouTube, and you'll see all our episodes available there. And also join our new Facebook group. It's growing, and it's a good place to just stop in if you have any questions, you want to say anything, you want to post anything about Stone Cold Steve Austin, or even our other show, the Extreme ECW Livecast. Feel free to join there, and just click on there, and I'll notice it, I'll get an alert, and I'll accept you to the group. So it's a private group where you can just chat with other fans of the show and other fans of Stone Cold in general. So join that Facebook group, Bottom Line Wrestling Cast. All right, so leading into this week's episode, just want to give a quick little recap of where we left off last time, and that was episode 75, Sinister Stipulations from February 2001. Here's a little rundown of what went down. Austin gets attacked by Chris Benoit, after the match between The Rock and Triple H on SmackDown. Kurt Angle is going to get the angle lock. Not called the angle lock at this time. It's called an ankle lock, but it becomes the angle lock, and Kurt Angle applies that to The Rock. Triple H gets in Stone Cold's face and pours beer on him, while Chris Benoit has the cripple crossface on Stone Cold. Okay, also the match stipulations were chosen by Triple H for the match we're going to talk about today at No Way Out. It's Stone Cold Steve Austin, Triple H in a 2 out of 3 falls match. 3 stages of hell. First fall, standard match. Second fall, no hold barred street fight. Third fall, if it comes to that, a steel cage match. And of course it's going to come to that.
Obviously.
All right, so that's where we left off last week. So, JV, you ready to get into it here?
Yeah.
All right, so we start off with Raw 404 from February 19, 2001. So this is a go-home Raw, and it's live from St. Louis, Missouri. And we start off with a promo. And Stephanie McMahon's going to come out at the 42-minute mark. And Stephanie has a mixed tag team match later in the night against William Regal and Trish Stratus. So she heads out to the ring. She's looking pretty damn good. She's ready to fight. She got all black on, black tights.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, her hair's tied back in a nice ponytail. So she's ready to go and looking good while being ready to go for it. And she had attacked Trish earlier in the night when Trish arrived in a limo with William Steven Regal. And that was pretty funny. So Trish arrives and she sticks her head out of the top of the limo and is like bitching at Stephanie. So Stephanie actually climbs the car and starts attacking Trish out of the sunroof opening. So that's what had happened earlier. So she's pissed off at this point. So Stephanie says, she's in charge tonight because Vince isn't there. And Stephanie says that everyone expected The Rock and Stone Cold versus Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit match to happen at this point. So that's the big match that they had advertised, and it was supposed to happen at this point, but Stephanie walked out instead. So she says, you're going to have to wait for that. And Stephanie's going to show clips of Vince and Trish talking about what Vince McMahon did to Linda McMahon, which we hadn't covered yet. Basically what happens there is that Trish and Vince are basically talking shit to Linda in her sedated state in a sanitarium that is really McMahon's house. Yeah. Because we've seen the house before, and that's their house. Mm-hmm. So they're playing it off as being this insane asylum. So that happens there, and then they walk up to the bedroom. They go up the stairs after. So if it was a sanitarium, they would be walking out the front door. Like, all right, we're out of here. Why would you be going up the stairs? So it's like they forgot where they were supposed to be. So it looked, knowing that it's the house, you would just think, oh, they're going upstairs to bang now while she's downstairs. So that's his Valentine's Day gift. And that's what Stephanie's here to bitch about. Stephanie says, it took a lot of hard work to subdue her mother. Stephanie says, Mommy realized there was only room for one dominant female. And this, I'm going to say off the bat, this is probably my oh hell no moment. Because the way that this story had been portrayed all along is that Vince is cheating on Linda, and Stephanie's pissed about it. And that's why she hates Trish. That's where that feud comes from. But now, just all of a sudden, Stephanie's taking credit for her mother being sedated, and that was the plan all along, was to sedate the mother so that she would be the dominant woman in the McMahon family. It makes no sense, because then why the hell is she mad at Trish? Why is she mad at her dad for being with Trish? Like,
Trish is only involved because of the romantic interest with her father.
Right, so...
Which is absolutely 100% what the issue was.
Right. And
now they're changing it. And the crowd pops for her when she's talking about she should be the only dominant.
Yeah. McMahon woman.
Like, wow, this is actually better.
Yeah, it is funny that they did just go along with it.
They should probably... It's shitty writing. It's sloppy.
Yeah, so... I was like, get the fuck out of here with this. It went on for weeks, too, that Stephanie's pissed that Vince is sleeping with Trish. And now it's just all of a sudden, I don't like that you are with Trish, I guess. That's going to be the story. I don't like that you like another woman, rather than your own daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you support me instead of supporting her? She's jealous, I guess. So maybe that's where they're going with it, but it sucked. So... fuck off with that. Stephanie turns her attention to Trish at this point and says, you should have stayed in the back seat where you're more comfortable. And I like that. Just that whole idea that, oh yeah, that's where people bang, is in the back seat. Ironically, that's my first spot too. So Steph says she's not afraid of anyone. Just look what I did to Stone Cold Steve Austin last Monday night. So they replay the clip where she slaps Austin in the face. So she says, if I can do that to Stone Cold Steve Austin, what do you think I'm going to do to you at No Way Out? And then the crowd just starts to chant slut, slut, slut. So Stephanie says, now forget that tag match. I want you one-on-one right here, right now. So we're expecting Trish maybe to come out, but no. Austin comes out. Austin's music hits, and Stephanie is shitting her pants as Austin comes down to the ring. So let's take a listen to what Austin has to say, and we'll be right back.
Be very afraid. Stone Cold is Stephanie's husband. This Sunday on pay-per-view. 2 out of 3 falls. 3 matches in 1. Stephanie, that slap may have been a very bad idea.
Just relax, honey. I just want to come out here and say thank you. I want to come out here and say thank you for flapping your little gums and showing those video clips and reminding Stone Cold Steve Austin what you did to him last Monday night.
Anchor.
And shut up, you're pathetic. And since I can't touch your little mealy-mouthed husband, old Stone Cold Steve Austin thought he'd come out here and give you a little present right from the bottom of my heart.
Whoa! Oh my God! Oh my God! Austin escapes Stephanie the Stunner! Mrs. Helmsley just got stunned by the rattlesnake! I can't believe Triple H! Oh, here he comes! She had it coming, King! Look at Triple H! There's Triple H! They're gonna blow it! They're gonna blow a zero tolerance here! Austin in the game kick! Having him physical contact! Look at Triple H! Where Austin's out of WrestleMania! And the game is a 6-month suspension! Triple H is having a seizure! He is beside himself! Can you imagine what it's gonna be like Sunday on pay-per-view at No Way Out? Look what Austin has done to the poor defenseless Stephanie! She's out! She's knocked out, JR! She had it coming, King! What? She had it coming! She wrote, and so does the game. My God, what a match! What a 2 out of 3 fall! 3 matches in 1 Sunday on pay-per-view. But this night is far from over. I cannot believe what this rattlesnake has done to Stephanie. You'll regret this.
All right, so as I said, Stephanie is scared shitless, shitting her pants, and Austin comes out looking like a monster. Austin gets in her face, picks up the mic that she drops. Austin thanks Stephanie for showing the video clip and reminding him of her slapping him in the face from last week. And then Stephanie tries to plead with Austin, and then Austin gives his nice line that he's used before. Shut up, you're pathetic. Says, since I can't touch your mealy-mouthed husband, another one of Austin's new favorite phrases, mealy-mouthed. He first used that with Regal, and it made sense, but I wouldn't say the game is mealy-mouthed. He usually says what he means. And Stone Cold Steve Austin thought, I'd give you a little present right here from the bottom of my heart. And wham! We get a stunner. Stunner on to Stephanie. So Austin then gets in her face like he loves to do. He grabs a couple of beers. At that point, Triple H runs right into the ring. Austin sees him, rolls out of the ring because he knows they can't have contact, so he doesn't want to mess that up. So he rolls right out of the ring. Triple H realizes he can't do anything, so he's flipping out crazy, knowing he can't touch Austin either. So he's totally jacked up, pissed off about what Austin just did to his wife. Austin pegs off Triple H from the ramp and then walks off. I thought it was well done. It was short and it was sweet. And you also get a stunner on Stephanie. So it popped the crowd big time, and it didn't drag on and on as if it would have been if Triple H was in the segment any longer. Or if he had mic time, it would have went on and on. So Stephanie gets checked out backstage after this segment, and Triple H is flipping out. William Regal and Trish are watching this on a monitor, and they figure, all right, I guess this mixed tag match is over with, so they actually leave. And Triple H sends Stephanie away in the limo, so that match is not happening here. Steph warns Triple H not to touch Austin, or it's going to be a 6-month suspension. And he just needs to wait 6 more days. Just 6 more days. So that brings us now to a match at the end of the show, 1 hour and 24 minute mark, to the closing at 1 hour 36 minutes. And it's Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock teaming up to go up against Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit, based on the fallout from what happened at the end of the last SmackDown, where you had Kurt Angle with the angle lock on The Rock, and Chris Benoit with the crippling crossface on Steve Austin as Triple H poured beer on Austin's head. So we get this match. And Triple H comes out to do commentary. Jerry Lawler grabs Triple H's arm as Stone Cold makes his entrance. Like he's like protecting Triple H from doing something he would regret. And Triple H wants that revenge for the stunner that Austin did to Stephanie earlier. Austin being a jerk off, knowing that Triple H can't hit him, grabs a couple of beers and then just puts them on the announce table right in front of Triple H.
That was a nice touch.
Yeah. So Austin just laughs at him, and then The Rock makes his entrance. Austin makes fun of Chris Benoit during this match for his missing tooth. So you see Austin a few times, kind of mocking Chris Benoit, covering up one of his teeth with his finger. Like, oh yeah, one tooth, a missing tooth. Kind of thing. That's pretty funny. And from there we go. Rock and Austin work very well as a tag team. As I've always said, Austin always works well in tag team matches and adjusts to whoever his partner is and does a damn good job all the time. So Kurt Angle gets tagged in and Austin crushes him with a running lariat. And then that's followed by a series of suplexes and then tosses him out of the ring through the second rope. And I brought this up not too long ago. I think maybe it was on ECW, but it's such an old school heel thing to do in the 80s was to throw a guy just out of the second rope, like right through the second rope, like get the fuck out of here. Yeah, so that's what Austin does to Angle. That's pretty cool. Now, kind of random thing that I noticed is that Chris Benoit's tights suck.
They're so bad.
They're just so blah, so plain. It's black tights and it's like red ovals. Red ovals with a white outline. Just all over
He should have had like a Wolverine on it or something.
Yeah, something different than those.
Because wasn't that like his alias was like the Wolverine?
Right. Yeah, he's a Wolverine. Or he should have maybe even had like the old X-Men style Wolverine colors, like yellow and black.
Yeah. Yep.
Something like that. Some kind of theme as like a nod to it. Not a rip-off, but something to be like, oh yeah, it makes sense. Looks like Wolverine tights. Actually, fucking Wolverine wore wrestling tights. Like that was his costume. He was a wrestler.
He need to get all fucked up and his top's got to come off.
Yeah. You rip it off.
Yeah. Then he just looks like a wrestler.
Yeah. Yeah, he starts off as a luchador and then he...
Yeah.
Oh, man, yeah. So he could have done that. Shit. Chris Benoit? No, actually, he didn't wear a mask when he was Pegasus Kid, but yeah, whatever. So anyway, he could have wore a mask. He's not that good looking. He cover his face. Be the Wolverine. Chris Benoit. Alright, so from there, that was just my little rant on his shitty ass tights. So we move on. Jerry Lawler is kissing Triple H's ass on commentary, which I thought was pretty weird because Jerry Lawler's a babyface at this point. So why the hell is he kissing Triple H's ass? Doesn't make any sense. We have Jerry Lawler like saving the day for Cat from the right to censor, but here he is just like, oh, Triple H, be careful, calm down. Like, shut up,
still
Jerry.
has that. When we get to the main event here.
Right. Alright, so Angle and Benoit make a slight comeback. Austin makes a hot tag to The Rock. The Rock lays into Benoit and applies a shitty-ass sharpshooter. The long-legged, standing-up sharpshooter. Angle runs in and clotheslines.
The dull shooter.
Yeah, the dull shooter. Good. That's a good one. New phrase right there. Alright, I'm going to have to remember that. So Angle runs in and clotheslines The Rock from behind and gets in and attacks Angle for interfering. So what do you think Earl Hebner's going to do? And yes, I'm going to talk about Earl Hebner because I can't ignore it anymore. Like, there's no way I can watch the match and not call him out for stuff. And JV, I think I even got you at that point now.
Yeah, everything he's involved in he ruined it for me. Because I shouldn't be, but I'm like paying attention to him.
Yeah. Well, as I've said though, he seeks the attention. That's what's annoying about him.
Yeah, he does. He makes sure to be a part of the show.
Right, exactly. And I just recently I seen some matches with his brother. His brother does the same shit too. Dave Hebner, like, will push a wrestler. Like,
yep.
That's not what you're supposed to do. Stop looking for the limelight.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Earl Hebner, what he does is he yells at Stone Cold. He yells at Stone Cold for trying to get in the ring. And Stone Cold's going to toss Kurt out of the ring. And then Stone Cold follows Kurt outside of the ring. And Earl actually did the right thing. So since I'm paying attention and criticizing, I'll notice when he does the right thing. He actually stays in the ring and doesn't follow Austin and Kurt out of the ring, which he's done numerous times, is just leave the ring and let some shenanigans go on inside while he's outside when he doesn't need to be outside. The referee never needs to be outside unless it's a Falls Count Anywhere match. That's the only time. So Earl does the right thing and keeps his ass in the damn ring. So at that point, Benoit applies the crippled crossface to the Rock. Austin runs back in, breaks the hold. Benoit hits the Rock with a series of belly to back suplexes, rather. And Benoit goes for the flying headbutt, and he misses. Both are down and in the middle of the ring. What are you going to say, JV? I cut you off.
I said, no, he misses.
Yeah, so he missed that big flying
headbutt. When you miss a big flying headbutt, I don't give a fuck how you miss. It has to hurt.
Yeah, you're just like belly flopping onto the...
Yeah, he doesn't do the best job of like protecting it because he's trying to,
Right, he's trying to look good, right.
Make it look good.
Right, so it's not like he's covering his head as he lands. He just takes it.
Yeah, yeah. He just fucking takes. Yeah, some CTE.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we all know that. All right, so Austin and Angle both get tagged in. I'm pretty damn sure The Rock didn't actually tag Austin's hand. And I was like, oh, I'm expecting Earl Hebner to lose his shit about it, but I guess that was supposed to happen, but Rock just missed Austin's hand, and Earl didn't say anything about it.
Bad wrestling by The Rock.
Yeah, exactly. Missed it, and Earl had to cover for his ass by not yelling about it. Although I bet he did want to yell, no tag!
I was just going to say, no, he definitely wanted to.
Yeah.
No, do it over. Do it over.
Austin goes on from there. He hits a spine buster on Angle, Luthez press, punches combo, and Austin goes for a stunner on Chris Benoit, but gets pushed off and sends him into Angle. So Austin just clotheslines Angle, which was nice. So we get the kickoff from Benoit right into a clothesline to Angle. The Rock handles Benoit. They fight outside of the ring. Austin hits the Stone Cold Stunner at 1 hour 35 minutes. Earl goes to make the count, but Triple H gets up from commentary and yanks Earl out of the ring to break the count. And Austin looks up to see Triple H pegging off Austin. And they get in each other's face. Remember, they can't touch each other. And Benoit sneaks up to hit Austin with the World Championship belt, but Austin ducks, and Triple H is nailed with the belt instead. The Rock hits the rock bottom on Benoit. And then Earl crawls back into the ring and makes the 3 count. The Rock and Austin win here. The Rock grabs his championship. Austin and Triple H start jaw-jacking with each other as the show ends. And perfect go-home segment for Raw. But there's still another SmackDown. So it's funny how they do this great ending to build to the pay-per-view. Because all these guys are involved in matches at the pay-per-view. And then
still another show.
Right, there's still another show to go. And with that said, we'll move on to that other show, and that is SmackDown 78 from February 22nd, 2001. This is Kansas City, Missouri, and it's taped on February 20th, 2001. And we start with some backstage banter between Stephanie and Triple H. More of the same shit. Stephanie's like, oh, don't touch Austin, Triple H. It's going to cost you, 6
Keep
months.
your cool.
Right. All that shit. So,
knowing that he's going to, egg him on. So,
man.
Especially after, obviously, what happened on Monday.
I think,
Raw, which we discovered.
Yeah.
Her getting stunned pretty hard.
I was thinking, if I'm Triple H, 6 months. 6 months to cost Austin his title match at WrestleMania. I think I'd rather just screw Austin, make him not have his title shot at WrestleMania, and then be out for 6 months. Come back in.
Yeah, I mean, it's his fucking father-in-law. What's he not going to get paid?
Right. Well, he's just going to be suspended. Yeah, he'd probably get paid. Be suspended for 6 months and come back in August, right in time for SummerSlam. And then have a huge match with Austin again at SummerSlam. But you kept the title away from Austin during that whole time. Obviously, they don't want to do that. They want to have Austin versus The Rock at WrestleMania. But kayfabe-wise, if I was Triple H, I would say, fuck that. I'll take the suspension to screw Austin.
It's never even considered either.
Right, he didn't even say it at all. It's probably because
sometimes I just want it, like nothing.
It probably just makes so much sense that if he said it aloud to the audience, the crowd would start to think, yeah, why the fuck are you not doing that?
Yeah.
So you want to screw him? But no, he wants to get his hands on him and kick his ass. So, yeah, I guess that's his real motivation. He can't wait to kick his ass. But if you just kick his ass, you can kick his ass from that point on whenever you want. Because the deal's already done. You're suspended. All right, anyway, so we move on to an interview. Jim Ross is going to attempt to interview Stone Cold Steve Austin and Triple H. So let's go to this segment, and we'll be back.
So bad, he can taste it. Triple H is frustrated, King. All that pent-up emotion of a month of zero tolerance ready to explode out of the veins of the game. You got to keep your cool, Triple H. Don't let that rattlesnake get to you. You're this close to Sunday. You can do anything you want to him Sunday at the pay-per-view. Bide your time. I don't think this is the night for this crowd to be getting all over the game.
You see, as JR so eloquently put it, you will this Sunday see an epic battle between two men with more hatred than any two men have ever had. This Sunday, No Way Out will be 2 out of 3 falls. And Stone Cold Steve Austin will learn to respect me. And Stone Cold Steve Austin will fear me because I will demand it. As you said, JR.
This crowd cheering for the rattlesnake. Please don't provoke him.
As you said, JR, in the first fall, I will break his spirit. In the second fall, I will break his bones. Now, if you think that I'm going to come out here tonight and I'm going to ruin my shot, that I'm going to come out here and I'm going to lose control, and when Austin gets in this ring, face to face with the game, that I am going to beat his ass in the center of this ring and get suspended for 6 months.
What a lot of people think.
Then you are wrong.
Oh, good.
I will not lose my cool. I will wait until Sunday to kick Austin's ass.
Just 3 days.
Because as JR likes to say, I am the cerebral assassin, right? I am the thinking man's wrestler. And I am smarter than that. As much as I hate Stone Cold Steve Austin, I guess Monday night he figured he needed to up the ante.
Uh-oh.
So Austin put his hands on my wife.
Oh, that was not good. You know that was not good, Michael. It wasn't good at all, King. I agree with you there.
Austin gave Steph the Stone Cold Stunner.
People are cheering about it.
And while I was off to start with, and that did continue to throw gas on the fire, it's not gonna make me lose my control. It's not gonna make me get suspended for 6 months. But it is gonna make me have an answer.
Wait a minute! Hey, what the hell is he doing? What's he doing to JR? No! Not the pedigree of JR! No! Pedigree to JR! Damn it, Triple H, look out! Here force is in effect. Well, there's nothing Austin can do physically about what just happened to JR. Triple H with a pedigree to JR. A response to his one getting stunned on Raw Monday night. Hold your cool, Austin. Hold your cool. 3 more days. Boy, the game is smart, isn't he? He knows how close the Rattlesnake and JR is. He knows what friendship they have. Well, the most intense personal rivalry, Austin and Triple H, in the history of the WWF, culminates Sunday on pay-per-view and No Way Out. WWF New York in the heart of Times Square. King rocking for SmackDown tonight. It's going to be rocking in 3 days. Sunday, No Way Out at WWF New York. Oh, there's no place better to watch No Way Out Sunday if you're in New York. Then WWF New York. Oh, a few moments ago, Triple H's frustration with Stone Cold reaching a boiling point. Oh, man.
It's not gonna make me lose my control. It's not gonna make me get suspended for 6 months. But it is gonna make me have an answer.
It was Triple H attacking JR, delivering the pedigree to Jim Ross. A retaliation for Austin stunning Triple H's wife. Exactly, that's why they call him the cerebral assassin. He planted for JR because he knew that was going to just irritate the Rattlesnake. Well, speaking of frustrations reaching boil.
Okay, so Mr. McMahon has ordered that JR interview both of these guys, Triple H and Stone Cold Steve Austin, in the ring. And JR says he has a bad feeling about this interview, and it could ruin the main event because these guys won't be able to keep their hands off each other. So when JR goes out there, he first shows a video package that highlights everything leading up to this match. JR introduces Stone Cold Steve Austin, but Triple H comes out instead. Triple H grabs the mic from JR, and you got to expect what's going to happen in this segment just from the fact that Triple H comes out first, and based on what Austin had done previously on Raw to Stephanie. And we have all good old JR in the ring here with Triple H. So, it's pretty predictable, but still good nonetheless. Triple H hypes up the match and says that Austin will learn to respect him at No Way Out, and Austin will fear him. Crowd chants for Austin. Triple H goes on and on again about breaking Austin's spirit in the first fall, and break his bones in the second fall. Triple H says he will control himself and not attack Austin. He will not lose his control, his cool. He's going to wait 3 days to kick Austin's ass. JR likes to say, I'm the cerebral assassin. I'm the thinking man's wrestler. And I'm just smarter than that. So he's going to wait. So Triple H says that Austin thought he needed to up the ante by stunning Stephanie on Raw. So Triple H turns to JR. Says, all right, well, basically I'm going to up the ante. He kicks JR in the gut and nails the pedigree. Austin runs down all pissed off, just like Triple H had run down pissed off. But he can't do anything. So pretty cool go-home segment again. Short and sweet, nothing prolonged and dragged out, because they basically did that on Raw. So we get a quick little payback from Triple H to Austin on his pal, his buddy, JR. So, JV, what'd you think of that little segment there?
I thought it was good, but my whole problem with the whole episode of SmackDown is that it doesn't trump
What they already
the
did?
episode of Raw. What do you mean, what they already did?
Like the match.
Right.
Match on Raw.
Right. Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
The ending of
So
Raw.
it almost feels like what's happened on SmackDown probably should have happened before. Like the SmackDown show segments, rather, not the whole show, but the Austin specific shit,
Right.
should have been on Raw.
Yeah, I could see that. Right. So,
Like I don't know, maybe have
early in
maybe
the show.
have
Yeah, go ahead.
like the show should be. I don't know. SmackDown. I guess it's tough to have the SmackDown before the Raw, like the screenplay for it, since the whole thing is Triple H getting payback for Austin stunning Steph.
Yeah.
So, but it just almost feels it's good, but it almost feels like overkill.
Yeah, I think it would have worked if they had the Austin Stephanie segment at the beginning of the Raw, and then in the second hour, Vince McMahon says, "Well, JR, you need to talk. You need these guys to be both in the ring at the same time." And then we have that right on Raw. And that could be the ending of Raw.
That's what I'm mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. So flip those parts because
And then the main event could have been on the main event for SmackDown instead.
right, and then the show ends like that.
And then it's 3 days away.
Yes.
Yeah, so
And,
you have Triple.
that's what I'm getting. And then Triple H is mulling over the fact that Stone Cold assaulted his wife.
Right. And they're both pissed because they both attack somebody that they like. One of their.
But I guess maybe they were just trying to show how much more restraint Triple H has to have here. Like he had to wait.
Yeah, he had to wait a few days to get some payback.
Yeah. Like a few longer days. I don't know. It just didn't feel.
I hear you. I agree.
It wasn't bad, though.
No, but it definitely the end of Raw felt like to go home. Like, all right, it's time for the match now.
It definitely did.
Yeah. All right, so anyways, that's the way it was, and that's how we had to cover it here on the Bottom Line Wrestling Cast. So that brings us now to No Way Out, February 25th, live from Las Vegas, Nevada. And it's here. It's 3 Stages of Hell. And just prior to the match, we get a pre-match interview, Stone Cold Steve Austin with Michael Cole. Not much there, so I'll just kind of recap what went down there. Michael Cole asked, a dumbass question. Stone Cold, are you ready to enter hell next? Stone Cold looks at him like he's a dumbass and just walks away. He doesn't even say anything. And I just thought it was great because so often that Michael Cole will ask those types of questions where it's like, no shit. Like, why are you even asking that question? So Austin doesn't give him the benefit of a response and just leaves. And that'll bring us now to the 3 Stages of Hell match. We're going to break it down into 3 parts, of course, based on the falls. So we start off with Fall 1. Just a standard one-on-one match. Regular style match, regular rules, pinfall, submission. And it kicks off at 54 minutes, 26 seconds. And it's going to go until 1 hour and 6 minutes. So this match is not the main event, as it's kind of been hyped of being. It's really in the middle of the card. It's like the 4th to last match.
Yep.
So we get kicked off. Austin slides into the ring to get things started, and they battle away. And they kick off the first fall for this huge grudge match, and Austin stomps a mud hole in Triple H. But moments later, Triple H hits the stun gun of sorts on Austin to prevent the Luthez press. But Austin may have whacked his nose on the top rope. It looks like he really got nailed there. And, he was like shaking too. Like, ooh, fuck, that one stung there. Now, Austin counters a pedigree attempt, so an early pedigree attempt by Triple H. He counters it with an arm breaker, and Triple H sells it as they go on to fight outside the ring. At this point, Austin continues to work on Triple H's left arm. Austin does hit the Luthez press and follows it up with a spine buster. Austin goes to the second rope, hits his elbow drop. Triple H puts his foot up, so Austin gets nailed with that.
And real quick, one thing on commentary, so how you were saying earlier, Lawler's kind of like a face, but he's sticking up for Triple H and has like the heel tendency in his commentary.
Mm-hmm.
If you remember at the start of this match, Lawler's talking like Austin can't wrestle, like he's only a brawler.
Yeah, you're right.
He's not good for technical stuff, and JR's like comes out and corrects him.
Yeah, you're right.
Like I get he was trying to be heel. I hope he was trying to be heel because I don't know. It's weird throughout the match. Jerry Lawler sounds like a heel, but then sometimes he sounds like a face.
He does.
So that's I thought the commentary was a little weird on this one.
Yeah, he's like in the in-between stage at this point for whatever reason.
It's like this is supposed to be a regular wrestling match, and we know all Austin likes to do is brawl. You don't have a plan.
I mean, I guess it makes sense to say that because he might just think that because Austin has been brawling for a while.
Yeah, but I mean,
we have seen matches recently.
Yeah, he had a Benoit match recently.
Kurt Angle match. Yeah. So yeah, it's good for JR to have said that. Like, no, he's had some good matches. He can work technical.
Anyhow,
like and even still, Triple H at this point is not a technical wrestler either.
No.
So he's a brawler at this point. So they're both brawlers. They're just in a standard match. It's not like it's a submission match. some kind of stipulation where you have to be working technical. You can still brawl in a regular single floor match.
Of course. And like you said, these guys have been itching to get at each other.
Right.
So naturally, the start of their match would be, let's just beat the fuck out of each other because they have so much, built up rage with everything that's been building to this. So
yeah, no, you're right. All right, so we get back into the action here. So Triple H is going to hit a swinging neckbreaker on Austin. Triple H takes control and slams Austin's knee into the corner post. And since this is the first fall, it's a one-on-one match, as we were just saying. Earl could DQ or count out anybody in this fall, but he's making no attempt to do that. He's just letting them brawl, apparently, because he could have counted them out at one point already, and he could have done a DQ already for the using the corner post, anything like that.
And you see Hebner trying to retain control, even though he doesn't call the DQ. He's doing everything in his power to kind of get them out of the DQ situations.
Right. So in this case, if he's not following what the rules are, it makes sense for him not to be, because he wants them to just battle it out. Triple H applies a figure 4 leg lock. Triple H grabs the ropes to get extra leverage. Earl doesn't notice it. Austin wiggles his way towards the center of the ring to reverse the figure 4 and breaks the hold. And I thought that was a nice little old school spot where
it was.
Where you have a submission move on, you take the ropes, try to get leverage, and then you fight back to the center and reverse it. Yeah, so that's totally cool, old school shit. So Austin nails Triple H with 10 headbutts into the corner turnbuckle. Not headbutts himself, like head to head, but he slams Triple H's head into the corner turnbuckle pad 10 times. And then hits another Luthez press, punches, elbow, lateral press, and gets a 2 count. Austin sets up for a stunner. Triple H pushes Austin into the corner and nails Austin with a reverse neck breaker, which is a move that Triple H has been using quite often.
Using it often.
Yeah.
It's a nice looking move.
Yeah, I like it. So I guess it's kind of like Rick Rude.
Yeah, the Rude Awakening.
Yeah, the Rude Awakening. So Triple H jumps off the second rope and does nothing in terms of offense. He gets kicked in the gut and nailed with the stunner. And fucking Earl Hebner was actually in the way, and Triple H had to push him out of the way so that they could do the spot. So here's a real example, not just me not liking what Earl has to do in kayfabe, but here's a situation where Earl Hebner was not in the right spot, and Triple H actually had to push him out of the fucking way so that Austin could stun him. So Austin wins the first fall after that Stone Cold Stunner, and good start to the match.
I thought so.
Yeah, they're working well together, and Stone Cold. If this was just a one-on-one match, Stone Cold would have won clean with the stunner. So Stone Cold's the better man, I would say. He won the regular wrestling match.
And it was a solid 12 to 15 minute match. Not counting entrances. I think it was around 12 minutes.
Yeah. So let's see.
That's a lot, considering how fast paced these guys are moving.
Right.
Because this could have been a slow paced technical match. They're exchanging holds, but this was a legit throw everything you got at them, even though it was just a regular match.
All right, it was back and forth all over the place. They even went outside the ring.
These guys, you could tell, are getting already pretty winded, and it's only phase 1.
Yeah. Wait until we get to the end of the match. They're just sucking gas, sucking air. They're totally gassed out by the end of this match, and you can tell. But they pull it off. All right, so we move on now to fall number 2. It's a no-hold-barred street fight. Austin's in the lead, 1-0. We kick off at 1 hour, 7 minutes, and they're going to go to the 1 hour, 22-minute mark for this fall. So they're going to put on another 15 minutes, basically, here in this second fall. All right, so we begin. Austin tosses Triple H out of the ring immediately. So, hey, this is a street fight. We're going out of the ring right away. So Austin suplexes Triple H onto the steel ramp a couple of times. Austin slams Triple H into the announce booth and nails Triple H with a monitor to the face. So things starting off pretty hot and heavy here. Out of the ring to the announce booth, monitor in the face already. Austin starts tossing chairs into the ring. Triple H walks into the crowd Austin follows him, and they begin to fight on the steps in the crowd area. Austin brings Triple H back down to the ring, and then Austin lands a series of chair shots all over Triple H's body, and all I could say was, holy shit, he's just whacking the fuck out of him with the steel chair. And then Austin even grabs a ring bell. He slides that into the ring. Not used right away, but it's there to be set up for usage later in the match. The brawl continues, and then out of nowhere, Austin has a barbed wire 2x4. It was just sitting there, the announce booth, and he comes up with this fucking 2x4. Oh, man. So that was pretty random, and it's going to get even more random as this match goes on. Triple H gets a hold of it and nails Austin.
It's not like he made it. You know what I mean?
Right.
It was just there.
It was
like
there.
he took a 2x4 and started rapping some fucking barbed wire about it. It's like someone already started it.
Right. Someone made it. Someone put it down there already. What would have been cool is knowing that they are going to have this match, the street fight, because it is the second fall. So they're going to have it. They should have just came out with their weapons in their entrance.
Yeah, that'd have been cool.
And then put them aside. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so he has that there, and Triple H gets a hold of it and then nails Austin with it. Triple H tosses it away, and then now we have a busted open rattlesnake at this point. So Triple H wails on Austin on the top of the announce booth. Triple H goes for the pedigree on the English announce booth, so not going for the Spanish. They actually try to do it on the English-speaking booth. But Austin's going to counter and hit the back body drop, tossing Triple H through the Spanish announce table. Of course, it all goes back to the Spanish announce table. So Spanish announce table is smashed to smithereens, and pretty damn cool spot at 1 hour, 14 minutes into that second fall. Austin's going to grab a beer and whack Triple H in the head with it. Austin rolls Triple H back into the ring, and Triple H grabs the bell that has been laying around there for a few minutes. He nails Austin with it. Austin kicks out on 2. Triple H hits a neck breaker on the chair. So swinging neck breaker onto the chair for Austin. Austin kicks out. Austin tries to lock in a sleeper hold after coming off of the ropes. So a little bounce off the ropes into a sleeper hold. And Triple H counters with a side suplex onto a steel chair that's laying in the ring. Austin kicks out, but he's bloody as hell at this point. Triple H goes for a pedigree, but he's too close to the ropes. And of course, Austin is going to back body drop Triple H now out of the ring. So then Austin nails Triple H with the steel chair on the outside of the ring. Austin follows that with using the steel steps. Triple H, all of a sudden now, he goes to the announce booth and he digs around and finds a sledgehammer.
His favorite.
Yeah, his favorite, but why the hell is it like underneath JR's legs?
Yeah, no shit, huh? That didn't even hit me.
Yeah. He goes underneath, he gets it, pulls it out, and Jerry Lawler's like, hey, why is that over there? Did you put that there? So yeah, that's pretty random. And I try to think logically of why certain weapons would be available. Like, it makes sense that maybe ladders would be underneath the ring, because maybe you need ladders to set some shit up, in the beginning of the show or whatever. That makes sense. So I tried to think logically, why would a sledgehammer be here? And there's no real making sense of it, but the only thing that popped in my head is that how they disassemble the announce tables at the end? It's just whack them with the sledgehammer? Break them down that way? I doubt it, but I'm trying to make sense of it all. So now you have both guys busted open. Austin prevents being hit with that sledgehammer with a gut shot. Then Austin tosses Triple H into the ring. And then Austin brings the sledgehammer into the ring. Austin stomps away on Triple H again. Triple H counters. Austin goes for a stunner, gets pushed off, but Triple H nails Austin with the sledgehammer right to the head. And then Triple H nails the pedigree and earns the win for the second fall. So another good match. 2 good matches. Which is surprising for Triple H. We don't see this a lot out of him. I guess, the last time we really seen this type of action was in early 2000 against Cactus Jack. He had a really good match at Royal Rumble. So that'll now bring us to fall number 3. So we are tied up 1-1. This is the steel cage match. Kicks off at 1 hour 24 minutes and goes to 1 hour 33. So about 9 minutes in the cage here for fall number 3. As the cage lowers, both guys are bleeding, and they look like they're going through 3 stages of hell for sure. So we get the chain link cage with the open top, and the weapons are still all over the ring. So you have chairs, barbed wire 2x4, you got the sledgehammer there. So all the weapons are in that cage still. Austin gets his head slammed into the steel support beam a couple of times. Austin's going to have his face raked by Triple H with the barbed wire 2x4. Austin's going to try to fight back, and he grabs a chair and hits Triple H with it to break his face from being scraped up with the barbed wire.
I like those vicious moves like that, where you're just not whacking them; they're just trying to maim.
Right, like he's just pressing it against his head, trying to drive into it or rip some skin.
I think I'd rather be hit with it than fucking have it dug in.
Right, yeah, right. Just being hit with it is quick, so maybe you just get a couple little cuts. But when you're scraping, you're just getting bloodied up like hell. So, yeah, that's what happened there. Austin tosses Triple H into the cage the same way that Triple H had tossed him into the cage, and then begins to rake Triple H's face with the barbed wire 2x4 also. So they're going back and forth with that. Austin goes for a cover, but gets a 2 count. Triple H DDTs Austin onto a chair. Austin kicks out on 2. And then the match becomes to get really slow because these guys are beat down. It just starts to drag at this point. Not bad because it makes sense because they've gone through hell. They're beat down. They're both bloody. So it's not a criticism to say, oh, it's slow now at this point. It should be slow. It makes sense to be slow at this point. So Austin's going to start to fight back with a huge series of right hands. So while it's slow for a moment, Austin comes back with some revitalized energy. He just starts going to town with a series of punches. And I mean a huge series of punches. 10 punches in a row. Triple H stands there dazed and then does a Ric Flair flop right onto the mat. Boom, just drops down.
That was cool.
Austin turns him over and then goes for a count. He only gets 2.
Which is his idol.
Right, yeah. That's right.
We all know his respect for it.
Right. So, yeah, and that's something where I accept it. I don't get oh, he's stealing that move. No.
I don't think that's stealing.
No, I think it's a good spot. And
it's homage, right?
Right.
Homage. Homage, yeah. Homage.
Yeah.
Is that homage? Oh, I think it's homage.
It's homage, yeah.
Yeah.
Or homage.
Not a word I use.
Yeah.
Clearly.
It's a word we read, not a word we say.
Yeah. Not a word I could say confidently. And I say it wrong. I say it both ways in my head. Just like I did now. I don't know what I'm saying it right. That's how I read it.
Right. Or
I'm on to the next word.
Or if I imagine this is what you were thinking. I want to say that word. I know what it is, but I don't want to say it, so I'm going to say he's paying respect. He's paying respect.
Yeah. Jesus. Yeah.
All right, so he pays homage to Ric Flair's flop, and we move on from there. Austin gets Triple H actually tries to escape the cage first. So Triple H is going up, and JR is like, "You can't win that way. You can't win by escaping the cage." And Jerry Lawler says, "They can't." So it's good that they pointed it out because you usually assume that cage match in WWF you can win by leaving.
Climbing out. So what was the end result of that? Because I remember that, and I'm like, well, what's the fucking answer?
So I guess what JR said is right. Is that there has to be
can't.
Right? You can't win the match by leaving. So you have to get pinned or submit. But yeah, they should have brought that up prior.
Yeah, all the dumb shit they say, they could have at least.
Right.
Because I was confused. Because then it's like they're talking about it, and it's like, well,
yeah, what's the answer? What the hell's going on?
Does Triple H know?
Yeah, because why are they
Did
both climbing?
Yeah, they're not like fucking Jeff Hardy. You don't expect them to do backflips off the fucking top. So why else are they going up there?
Right.
Whether it's to win.
So they both end up being up there, and Austin gets pushed off as he stands on the top rope. So he's not totally up the cage; he's just standing on the top rope and gets pushed off. Austin slams Triple H off of the top turnbuckle and goes for a cover. He gets a 2 count. Austin then goes for a stunner, but Triple H pushes him into the cage. Austin bounces back and gets kicked in the gut. Triple H sets up for a pedigree and nails it right in the center of the ring. And Austin kicks out. Triple H can't believe it. The crowd's going fucking bananas. And Austin gets up moments later. He crawls. He grabs a 2x4. And Triple H grabs the steel chair and slams Austin with it. Austin counters the pedigree again and slingshots Triple H into the cage. Triple H stumbles. He's dazed as he stumbles towards the center of the ring, and Austin kicks him in the gut. Nails the stunner, and now Triple H kicks out. So, again, the crowd's like losing their mind. So, this is just exciting match. Cool shit here, wrapping things up. And I like that, as I was saying before, they slowed things down to help build up these final moments. So the crowd's just waiting in anticipation. They think it's over. No, it's not over. Think it's over again? No, it's not over again. So Austin grabs the 2x4. And then Triple H slowly goes to grab the sledgehammer. They get up at the same time. They both end up hitting each other. Austin falls to the mat first. Triple H falls back and lands on Austin. Earl Hebner gets down, makes a 3 count. Triple H wins the match, 2-1, at the 1 hour 33 minute mark. And that's it. The cage gets lifted. They both lay there, a bloody mess. In post-match, Earl raises Triple H's hand. Austin gets up, hits Triple H with the Stone Cold Stunner, crawls out of the ring. Triple H still laid out in the center of the ring as Austin walks off. He looks on from the ramp. He can't believe what happened. He lost, but it was a hell of a battle. Hell of a match.
He lost, but he was the first one up, and he walked out.
Right, right. So in the end, he looks like the victor, even though the official victory goes to Triple H in this grudge match. But Austin hasn't totally lost because Austin kept his cool, didn't lose his title shot, and now he's on to WrestleMania to face the champion. And we'll get into talking about that after the break and in the Attitude Era update. But this was a big match, been building for a long time. We got to give a skull rating. JV, what do you got for skull rating on this match?
Whew.
It's tough.
It's really good. I mean, it's at least say 4.25.
All right.
Skulls. I got to go a little better than 4.
Oh, all right.
It's not 5 stars, but I thought it was at least a strong 4. So I just thought it really paced well.
Right.
Each match kind of have its own little thing to it, but you could feel the underlying grudge between these two, and I like the ending because, I mean, how else do you put Triple H over without absolutely making Austin look weak?
Right, that's something that Austin's afraid of because he didn't want Triple H to beat him back at SummerSlam in '99. So now Austin finally agreed to letting Triple H beat him because he knows he's going on to win the championship at WrestleMania. But,
and the crowd's hot for Triple H because he wins and he has a nice pop from his fan base in that crowd.
Yeah.
So, but he doesn't look strong. Neither guy looks strong or weak. And it was just a perfectly well written ending, and it worked out well that they both, hit each other at the same time.
Right. So
and Triple H just, the ball landed his way. He landed on top of Austin.
Right. Yeah. So exactly.
Didn't even realize he won, which is something you see these desperation wins by heels, where they're still clean wins, like they're within the rules of the match, like when just the WWF champion at this time, Kurt Angle, has a couple of those.
Right.
So.
Yeah. So totally spot on with your assessment. There is that they both split the matches. Austin won the first fall. Triple H won the second, and then that third fall, it was even basically. They fell down at the same time. It just happened to be Triple H landing on Austin. Could have been Triple H hitting the mat first and Austin landing on him. So yeah, so that was great. Great ending. So nobody really looks bad. They both look good. They both look strong because they went through hell.
And you know, I think this was properly booked.
Yeah, I agree. So hell of a match there. Definitely worth going back to check out. Maybe even something we'll do as a watch along, because just like how it's set up, that's totally a watch along type of match. Yeah.
It's a hell of a lot. I mean, I'd say, what are we, 19 years later? Just over 19 years later?
Yeah.
And this still holds up. If they did something like this today, and I mean, I think people watch this and still think it's a strong
Yeah, I agree.
4 close to 5-star match caliber. 4 to 5-star match. Caliber match. Fuck. Learn how to talk.
Absolutely, I agree. It is 4 to 5-star worthy, and you know it's much better than what we talked about was on as we record this. It's Backlash, and you know, as I'm actually saying this right now, it's Edge versus Randy Orton, and I've looked up a few times while we were doing this, and it does look like a hell of a match. I don't know about the greatest match of all time, but it does look pretty damn good. I'm gonna definitely go back and watch that, but if you're not a fan of what's going on, and obviously if you listen to our podcast, you like the retro flavor, and Stone Cold Steve Austin against Triple H is a match you should go back and check out this week, or wait until we do a watch along at some point. But I would say don't wait for us to do the watch along. Watch it now, and if we do the watch along, watch it again. But JV, anything left for you to say on this No Way Out?
No. I think we're now on our final road to WrestleMania.
All right, so you know, in a couple of weeks, we'll be back on the road to WrestleMania for Stone Cold, because next week we'll be skipping the chronological story of Stone Cold Steve Austin and going back to the Hollywood Blondes. We're going to do our second episode in this special series, the Hollywood Blondes. So that'll be next week, and then in 2 weeks we'll continue from the night after No Way Out and build up for a couple of weeks and see how the road to WrestleMania begins. All right, so we're going to talk about, after the break in the Attitude Era segment, we're going to talk about the other matches from No Way Out and what was going on to build up to those matches over the past couple of weeks leading up to this pay-per-view. So we'll take a break and we'll be right back.
What's up, rattlesnakes? This is Alex Dorio, one half of the Talking Taker podcast. And even though Stone Cold might say DTA, don't trust anybody, we hope you'll trust us when we say if you love the Bottom Line Wrestling Cast, you'll also enjoy what we're doing over on Talking Taker. Each week, my lifelong wrestling buddy and fellow creature of the night, Mr. Travis White, and I explore one pay-per-view match in the career of the greatest professional wrestling character of all time, The Undertaker. We're right in the heart of the Deadman's second coming in the late 2000s. But we've got over 125 episodes, so you can jump in from the beginning or pick and choose from some of your favorite moments, including every single Undertaker versus Stone Cold Steve Austin match analyzed in detail, including a great crossover episode with our buddies here at the Bottom Line Cast. You can listen to us wherever podcasts are found, and you can follow along our journey at Talking Taker on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Thanks to Mike and JV for letting us plug the show, and take her easy.
All right, we're back now for the Attitude Era update, where we are going to break down No Way Out pay-per-view and the events leading to it. And we're just going to get right into it. There were a few things, a couple storylines that were playing out throughout January into February leading up to No Way Out that weren't tied to any of the matches on No Way Out. So I'm just going to run through some of that stuff quick. And there's a storyline with Al Snow. And Al Snow is on a crusade to get Mick Foley back. So on Raw 402 from February 5th, Al Snow is back and he has Head with him. And you know, that's just like kind of showing you that Al Snow's back here and he has head, so kind of back to his original gimmick. Because he had been doing some other shit for a while, and now he is here back. So that happens on Raw 402. And then on SmackDown 76, Al Snow has a match against Rikishi. So basically what's happening is Al Snow's going backstage. He's talking to Vince McMahon, and he keeps bringing up Mick Foley. And every time he brings up Mick Foley, McMahon gets pissed and puts him in a match. So on Raw 402, he put him in a match against Chris Benoit. Got his ass kicked by Chris Benoit. And then on SmackDown, he does the same thing. Goes to Vince. Vince puts him in a match against Rikishi. Rikishi kicks his ass. Al Snow gets involved. Haku gets involved and beats up Al Snow. So he keeps getting punished. And then on Raw 403, Al Snow dresses up as Mick Foley. And this was pretty funny. He's got the limp down and everything. He's got the sweatpants. And he goes into the ring and says, I'm not screwing me. I'm not screwing Trish Stratus, but I know you're screwing Mick Foley. So Al Snow says that Mick is his best friend, and a lot of people love him out there, and he wants him back. Because remember, Mick Foley was kicked out of the WWF not too long ago, a few months back. So Al Snow's on this crusade to bring him back. And then Al Snow actually goes to visit Mick Foley at his house on the February 15th episode of SmackDown. So Al Snow gets to the house. He's in Mick Foley's basement. And he's just by himself. And Al Snow's looking around. He sees an exercise bike. He says, exercise bike. Must be in the wrong house. So Mick says that. Mick finally shows up and comes down and says, I'm not coming back. I'm happy here. Happy being home in my room here. I can watch TV. I can get Jeep Pops. I can hear people chant my name on old tapes and whatnot. And he convinces Al Snow that he should try to become the commissioner. And then Al Snow starts to be intrigued by that. And Mick Foley even hands over his gavel. Says, you should be the commissioner. Al Snow's like, where'd you just find that? Why'd you just have a gavel down there?
Judge Wapner.
And Mick says, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Well, what you can do is go on upstairs, get me a hero sandwich, and then come back down and we can watch the best of Steve Blackman.
Sarcasm.
Yeah, which is a nice little dig. And I don't know if you remember, but there was that one time where Mick Foley was backstage as the commissioner, and he was just like walking by locker rooms, and it popped his head into Steve Blackman's, and it was like, "Hey, Steve, great match you had," like being sarcastic about him. So Mick Foley's gonna sneaking those Blackman jokes in, so they must have been buddy too, if he's doing that. All right, so Mick Foley is basically on his way back, so we can anticipate that in the weeks to come. Another storyline that didn't have a match on No Way Out, but did have a match on the pre-show, was the Hardy Boys and the Radical rivalry that's going on in the Lita stuff. In essence, what happens, what's going on there is that you still have that Lita Malenko thing going on, and that's why the Hardys are tied with the Radicals and having matches between them. And Dean Malenko tries to kidnap Lita at one point, but Matt Hardy's going to save her. And then that leads to a match between Matt Hardy and Perry Saturn. Lita says that she goes down and says she wants to end this once and for all. She wants a match with Dean Malenko. So Lita and Dean Malenko have a match on Raw 404 from February 19th. And there's a video package that shows, everything that's gone down between them. So I'm thinking, well, this must be the conclusion. I'm like, thank God, finally end this. So this seems like it's the last thing. And it is. So Matt Hardy nails Malenko with a steel chair. Lita gets the win. And Matt kisses Lita for the first time. She can't believe it. Matt walks away. He slaps himself on the head and calling himself stupid. Oh, stupid, I should have done that. And he walks away on the ramp. Then Lita runs up to him like it's a fucking 1980s romantic comedy. She tells him, shut up, and then kisses him. It's like straight out of Breakfast Club, the end of Breakfast Club, with Molly Ringwald kisses Judd Nelson.
Yeah, it's that 80s
Yeah,
fucking corniness, campiness.
right. Like, no, don't worry about it. Just be quiet. Kiss me again. So she does that, and now that's the new angle with Lita and Matt, is that they're in love with each other. And like I said, on the pre-show, I believe it's Matt Hardy versus Rikishi. It doesn't really matter, but that's what was going on with them. And now we get to No Way Out. And the first match of No Way Out is a hardcore title match. And it is Raven versus Big Show. So in the weeks leading up to that, Raven is continuing to hold on to his title with the help of his ninja woman that continues to help him get out of jams. So we have that going on. The ninja lady is feuding with Molly also. So all these people are interconnected. So you have people like Crash Holly, Saturn, Blackman, K-Quick, Hardcore Holly, even Big Show now. And it all leads to a number one contenders match, Hardcore Chaos match on SmackDown 78 from February 22nd. And Raven's on commentary for it because the winner is going to determine who he faces at No Way Out. And Raven is wicked awesome on commentary. He's just solid on commentary.
I always thought he was a really good talker.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, even as the Raven character, of course, where he's like all doom and gloom, of course. But, this Raven is different than that Raven, obviously. And this Raven's funnier. And he has more personality. And in this commentary, you can see that. And then it just reminded me, like, oh, shit, he was that same way when he was Johnny Polo. Because he would often do commentary on Raws early on as Johnny Polo. And he had that. He was just good. Just comedic heel. Like, kind of like Jerry Lawler type style on commentary. And I thought, shit, maybe they should have went that route with him. But they were already starting to use Taz as kind of like a heel commentator, wrestler at that point. But Raven would have been just as good. I mean, obviously, Taz went on to have a career doing it, so that was the right choice. But Raven probably could have done the same thing, too. Anyway, so Big Show ends up winning that match, and he gets the title shot. So that brings us to No Way Out. And the Black Ninja Woman comes out and tries to attack Big Show with the 2x4 to start the match. So typical hardcore shit. Crash Holly comes running out dressed as a popcorn vendor, sneaks in the ring. He actually sneaks out the win, but then he gets handled by Big Show. Blackman, Hardcore Holly, they all run in and begin fighting with Big Show. Then out of nowhere, Billy Gunn runs in. He hits the Famouser, and he wins the hardcore title. The match continues again because it doesn't end until everybody just gets the hell out of there. So Blackman and Hardcore team up on Billy Gunn. Raven sneaks back in last minute, wins the title, runs off with the ninja. Molly whacks the ninja, but then Big Show grabs Raven, chokeslams Raven through the table. Big Show wins the title. Billy Gunn then attacks Big Show, and all I'm thinking is, when the fuck's this gonna end? Titles changed like 3 times already. Stop. So Big Show ends up the hardcore champion when all is said and done here. So we move on now to the next match on the No Way Out card, and that is going to be a fatal 4-way between Chris Jericho, X-Pac, Eddie Guerrero, and Chris Benoit. So some of the things that happened that are of note leading up to that. So just from that, me saying who's in the match, if you haven't been following along, we haven't mentioned X-Pac in a while. So that's because X-Pac's been out for a bit. So X-Pac makes his return on Raw 403 from February 12th, 2001. And another name, somebody that hasn't been around that's in this match, is Eddie Guerrero. Eddie Guerrero's been out for a while, and he makes his return on Raw 402 from February 5th. So Eddie Guerrero runs out, attacks Chris Jericho. The next week, X-Pac runs out, attacks Chris Jericho also because Chris Jericho is responsible for injuring both of those guys and putting them out for a little while. So that's what's going on there. On Raw 403, on February 12th, when the day X-Pac returns, he ends up having a match later in the night against Scotty 2 Hotty. Scotty 2 Hotty gets injured early on in the match, So X-Pac demands that Grandmaster Sexay gets in the ring and has a match with him.
What a name. That's
Grandmaster Sexay.
Grandmaster Sexy.
So the match begins, and X-Pac beats Grandmaster Sexay real quick, and Jericho runs in for revenge for being attacked earlier by X-Pac. And from there, we get another new face, a debut of Justin Credible, formerly Aldo Montoya. And it's funny that we bring this up now because just a week and a half ago, on our bonus episode, Aldo Montoya came up as being part of the worst gimmicks of 1995. And we did mention that, or Jay Free mentioned that he does end up like partnering up with X-Pac. And here it is. It's right here now. And X-Pac and Justin Credible working on Jericho, and there they are. They're now a little team. And they're Click members because Justin Credible, Aldo Montoya, was part of that group. He hung out with 1-2-3 Kid, Razor, all back then. So they're just Click brothers there. As I even said on that bonus episode, they look alike. They look a lot alike. Like they could be brothers. So anyway, Justin Credible is here. And that's because ECW just shut down the month before, in January of 2001. So ECW is no longer. So we'll be seeing some more ECW faces in the weeks to come. And then a month later, WCW is shut down. And we'll start to see those shitty WCW guys come in to WWE, which I can't wait to get into because it is such a letdown to have. All right, well, we're going to get all these great people from WCW, and like nobody comes. The biggest names are like Chuck Palumbo. So, some shit. So we'll be getting into that not far from now. All right, so basically, we get some matches between Jericho, X-Pac, Eddie Guerrero versus X-Pac. So all these people that are going to be involved in this No Way Out match, they're having their interactions with each other. They even tag up with each other on SmackDown 78 from February 22nd. The typical thing where, all right, we're going to have a Fatal 4-Way at the pay-per-view. All right, just put everybody in the tag team match 3 days before. So we get that. And then we get to the match. And JV, what'd you think of this match? This IC title match.
Which one are you talking about here?
The IC title. Chris Jericho, X-Pac, Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit.
Oh, from the pay-per-view you're saying?
Yeah, the No Way Out one. Yep.
Oh, yeah, that was a really good match. Not as good as Jericho and Benoit's ladder match.
Yeah, the ladder match. That was awesome. Royal Rumble.
From Royal Rumble. Yeah, the most recent pay-per-view we covered.
Yep.
But I thought it was good.
Yeah, a lot of action.
I mean, it was a cool, kind of clever how Jericho wins. So, right, he won.
Right, yeah. So Jericho gets the walls of Jericho.
He puts it on everybody. Right,
he goes one by one.
Yeah.
Putting it on everybody. X-Pac's the last one, but Justin Credible runs in to break it, and he ends up getting knocked off the apron, though, by Jericho. And Benoit gets into the ring, nails Eddie with a headbutt, so they start to have, like, the Radicals even start to clash with each other. Yep. X-Pac is going to spin kick Benoit, and then Jericho sneaks up behind X-Pac and
rolls him up.
He rolls him up for the win.
Yeah.
So
the crowd, I just remember thinking the crowd was very hot for Jericho like the whole time. Like we've seen it coming in Jericho matches leading up to this, how much the crowd kind of gravitates to him.
Right.
And, this just further solidifies the eventual decision to kind of bring Jericho into the main event picture.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Next year, I think, right?
Yeah, by the end of the year. He's the champion.
Yeah.
December. Yeah, so definitely he's building at this point.
But no, great chemistry. I mean, what like a talented crew of wrestlers.
Oh my God, yeah. All those guys in that match.
From a technical perspective.
Jesus. Benoit, Jericho, X-Pac, Eddie Guerrero. Shit.
Yeah.
What a hell of a
Because X-Pac's a name that gets forgotten a lot. Man, every time you watch me, just like, Jesus. Right. This guy could have just, like, maintained a level head.
Oh, he could have been great.
Yeah, especially with, because eventually WWE gets to the point where they're not as concerned about how big you are,
Right.
where your talent, grit, and just being a good employee could pay dividends for your career down the road, which is
Right, and the fact that
Sure.
he came through during that time where you had to be big, and he lasted through it
yeah, yep,
and was able to make a name as being a good wrestler. Also, at this same time, when he makes his return, this is when that X-Pac heat begins, where people are just like, "Fuck you, X-Pac, get the hell out of here already."
yeah,
People are sick of X-Pac at this point, so that's something also to take note of. That term, X-Pac heat, it's all beginning here when he returns, because it looks like he's going to get pushed over people like Eddie Guerrero, Benoit, Jericho,
yeah, which
which people would be pissed about.
pissed considering how invested they feel in these characters now.
Right. All right, so let's move on to the next match at the No Way Out pay-per-view, and that's going to be the big match between Trish Stratus and Stephanie McMahon Helmsley. And you pretty much know the build to this. We've talked about it in even the Austin segments where Stephanie and Trish are at each other's throats because of Trish being with Vince McMahon, or she assumes that Vince is with her, even though William Regal is covering for Vince, which is funny in itself. We talked about the Valentine present of Mr. McMahon and Trish standing in front of sedated Linda McMahon and just talking shit about her, basically. And Trish even says that Linda reminds her of her Nana. and that's when they go upstairs or whatever and do what they're going to do. And we go on from there. We have that segment where Stephanie attacks Trish in the limo. And then on SmackDown 78, February 22nd, you have Trish gets into a limo after commercial break, and the windows are all steamed up. So the assumption is that Trish is banging Vince McMahon in the limo. So Stephanie gets pissed off, tries to open the cars, yelling and screaming. Trish attacks Stephanie from behind. She sets her up. She says, "I set your damn ass up. I should win a damn Oscar for that performance." So they begin to battle with each other and roll around in a pile of hay just out of nowhere. So they're in a garage, and then there's just a bunch of hay. And they're rolling around in it. Trish rubs Stephanie's face in horse manure and then takes a bucket that is filled with, I don't know, horse piss, I guess, and then dumps it on Stephanie. Yeah, fucking gross. And that's what leads us to their match. So it was actually a surprisingly good match, I thought. Did you watch this one? Is this one of the ones you skipped, or did you
Which
check
one's
this one
this?
out? Trish and Steph.
No, I skipped this one.
Skipped it. All right, so it's actually a pretty decent match considering what it is. Trish Stratus, who's still new, barely at this
Still
point.
relatively green, yeah. She's
Right.
not the Trish Stratus that people know her as now.
Right. And Stephanie, she's Stephanie.
Yeah.
But she ends up putting on a decent match here. And, the finish has Trish hitting the Bulldog, which Jerry Lawler calls the Trish Dog. And Regal runs in and pulls the ref's feet when we try to get a cover here. And Regal lays Trish across Stephanie. Jimmy Coderas is the ref. He makes the count, but Regal put Stephanie's foot on the rope. So Regal doesn't know what to do because there was this whole backstage segment where Vince is like, "You know what you got to do." And he doesn't know what he has to do because he's not sure if Vince wants his daughter to win or for Trish to win. So he's down there like a bumbling fool, preventing both of them from winning. So Trish slaps Regal. Regal then nails her with a swinging neck breaker. Stephanie covers Trish and gets the win. And then Vince is pissed backstage for Regal not knowing what he wanted. Vince says that Regal and Stephanie are going to have to face Vince and Trish the next night on Raw. So that's how that goes off. But pretty entertaining match for what it is. And then we move on now to the APA and Cat. And the match at the No Way Out pay-per-view is going to be the Right to Nudity match. Jerry Lawler versus Steven Richards. And I know this is another one that you did not watch.
No, I did not watch this one.
Fuck that. But basically what happens here is Jerry Lawler wants to stand up for Kat because the Right to Censor has been trying to censor her, and she wants to be nude, and she wants to create a group called the Right to Nudity. And they're trying to prevent that. The Right to Censor is trying to prevent that. And Jerry Lawler is going to stand up for her because he wants to see her naked, even though he's seen her naked plenty of times. But but that's the story, is that he wants to help her out. So he's going to have a match against Steven Richards. And the stipulation is if Jerry Lawler wins, then Kat can strip. And if she loses, or if Jerry loses, rather, then the Right to Censor will claim Kat. So what basically happens is Jerry Lawler ends up losing because of a distraction by Ivory. Steven Richards hits Jerry with a belt while the referee's distracted. He gets pinned, and the Right to Censor now has Kat. So we'll see what happens with that. So Val Venus grabs her and walks off with her to the backstage area. They put like a sack over her to cover her up, and now she's gone. So we'll see how she fits into Right to Censor in the weeks to come. Then from there, we go on to the tag team title match, and it's the Dudley Boys versus Edge and Christian versus the Undertaker and Kane. All right, so now typical situations going on in the tag team title division. Just a new development, I guess, is the Undertaker and Kane are teaming up with each other, and they look like this unstoppable team.
Unstoppable. Yeah, massive team.
Right, they're just kicking everybody's ass. They beat the Dudley Boys up. They beat Edge and Christian up. So they're just beating everybody up. And there's a series of matches on Raw 402. It's the Dudleys against Undertaker and Kane. Ends in a DQ. On SmackDown 76 from February 8th, it's the Dudleys versus Edge and Christian. That ends up being a situation where Kane and Undertaker come out, choke slam everybody. And then it's determined that, all right, there's going to be a number one contenders match on Raw 403 from February 12th. And it's Edge and Christian versus The Undertaker and Kane. So you have that match. And there's not a real ending to it. So it's a DQ. And Vince McMahon is not happy with that. So Vince McMahon says that in the interest of fairness, the Dudley Boys will face both teams in a triple threat match at No Way Out. And then there's this segment on Raw 404 where Edge and Christian challenge the Dudley Boys to fight them in the parking lot. And Edge and Christian tell some goof to go tell The Undertaker that the Dudley Boys messed up the Undertaker's bike. And The Undertaker's like, you better not be playing with me, boy. And The Undertaker goes to look to see his bike's all fucked up. But the Dudley Boys were in the parking lot at that same time to meet Edge and Christian, but Edge and Christian are now hiding. So The Undertaker just sees the Dudley Boys and starts to battle with them. And then out of nowhere, Edge and Christian come in and get the advantage there and start to beat up. But then Kane shows up and they all start brawling there. So a nice little segment to build up to this match at the pay-per-view. And we get to the match. The brawl begins on the ramp. The Dudley Boys are tossed off the ramp by The Undertaker and Kane. The crowd is chanting for tables right from the start. It's a tables match, by the way. It's a triple threat tables match. So the winner is whoever puts somebody through a table. So the crowd's chanting, tables, tables. So do you understand the concept? You're not getting tables right away. Because the moment the table breaks, the match is over.
Match is over, yeah.
So what the fuck
There's
you
a slow
chanting
build
for?
to that. Yeah.
Right. You got to watch the match first.
I really wanted the match to be over.
Yeah, maybe that. Maybe they're just like, all right, get to the next match. Get to the main event. So, Taker and Kane are about to slam Edge and Christian through the table, but the Dudley Boys regroup. They grab a couple of chairs and attack Kane and Undertaker. Edge and Christian and Dudley Boys go at it for a little bit. Get the wazap to Edge. The headbutt to the nuts, called the wazap. And Bubba calls for the tables, but Kane and Undertaker attack Devon as he's about to get a table. We get a double flying clothesline by Kane and Undertaker to Edge and Christian. Taker and Kane put 2 tables in the ring. So, well put together match. I liked it. It flowed very well. And Kane and Undertaker obviously looking dominant throughout this match. But then, of course, we forgot about this team. It's a new monster team. It's Rikishi and Haku. So Rikishi and Haku run down. They attack Undertaker and Kane just as they're about to put Edge and Christian through the table. The Dudley Boys and Edge and Christian go at it in the ring. Edge gets slammed into a table, but it doesn't break. It seemed like that may have been the spot to end the match, but the table just didn't break. And then seconds later, Christian gets put through the table with the 3D. The Dudley Boys retain the tag team titles. Kane and Undertaker look on from the ramp. They're pissed off because they ended up getting distracted by Hakushi and Rikishi. Hakushi, not Hakushi.
I was gonna say Hakushi.
Hakushi and Rikishi. Yeah, fuck that up. Haku, just Haku, no she at the end of that one. And the Rikishi has the she. So yeah, so Rikishi and Haku messed with Kane and Undertaker, and they're pissed about it. So we know that that means that some shit to go on down the road for them. Now that brings us to the main event of No Way Out, and that is the championship match. It's going to be Kurt Angle versus The Rock. But before we get to that, we just point out some of the headlines, so highlights of what was going on prior to that. And on SmackDown 76, there is a number 1 contenders match for the championship. It's The Rock versus The Big Show. So The Rock gets the win there, earns his shot at the title at No Way Out. On SmackDown 76 also, this is kind of a comedic aside going on with Kurt Angle, since he's not really involved in anything at this point because we're just waiting to see who the number 1 contender is. And Kurt Angle has a series of segments with S.A. Rios, who's back.
S.A. Rios.
So Kurt Angle talks about how S.A. Rios stole his T-shirt and bought tequila with it. Kurt wants him to go buy another one, and if he does that for him, he'll give him some tacos in exchange for it. Jeez. S.A. Rios says he wants Kurt in the ring. He goes, "You want me in the ring? Now I know you've been drinking." And I think S.A. Rios was suspended for a little while for a drinking incident. So they're making fun of him now about it, I guess. That's a great way to help somebody.
Yeah.
All right, so
Real genuine.
Kurt Angle accepts the match as a non-title match on Sunday Night Heat from February 11th. Kurt Angle wins on Heat and gives the Olympic Slam to S.A. Rios 3 more times after the match. And then on the next Raw, the next night, Raw 403, February 12th, Michael Cole tells Kurt that S.A. Rios wants a tag team match. Kurt says he will find a partner, and Edge and Christian are like, "Hey, you got others at your disposal if you want. Team Eck lives." So that's the first time that you hear Team Eck, Edge, Christian, Kurt. So Kurt doesn't care who S.A. Rios picks. He thinks, you're just going to pick one of your homies. Kurt says he will pick he'll pick this old woman walking by with the cart. So at the time, there's an old woman walking by with the cart. He says, I'll take you. And then Raven pops up and says, "You know what? I'll be a partner." Then Kurt's like, "You sure?" And then he goes to talk to the old lady. He says, "Oh, is it okay if Raven takes your spot?" She's looking at him whatever. I don't know. So Big Show goes up to S.A. Rios, says he wants the spot. So Kurt Angle's kind of fucked now. And this all leads into the hardcore title situation where Big Show and Raven sought to have their issues. So little slight side story going on there. And then we get an interview now with Kurt Angle with Kevin Kelly on Raw 404 from February 19th as we build to the No Way Out match. Kurt says he feels mistreated as a gold medalist, and he's always facing these boos as he enters the crowd, or enters the arena rather, and he always gets the boos, but The Rock is always treated like a hero. And he says The Rock is a jerk, so why is he being treated like the hero? Kurt questions Kevin about how he's been treated by The Rock lately. How embarrassing is it that The Rock calls you a hermaphrodite, calls you Hermie? He says, "What does your son think about that? What does your son think a hermaphrodite is?"
It's awful.
And then he goes, do you think your wife thinks it's sexy that The Rock made you conduct an interview with a finger up your nose? Then he goes, who will you be rooting for when I face The Rock this Sunday? He goes, that's okay. You don't have to say anything. Your face says it all. And it's so true. It's like, yeah, Kevin Kelly wants you to kick his ass. Kick The Rock's ass. Because everyone thinks The Rock will beat me, and it'll be Stone Cold Steve Austin versus The Rock at WrestleMania. And it'll be the biggest WrestleMania of all time. In air quotes, the biggest WrestleMania of all time. And it's ironic he says that because it has become one of the biggest WrestleManias of all time over all these years. WrestleMania 17.
Yeah.
So Angle says he's used to proving people wrong. That's what he's going to do at No Way Out. Angle says he will earn the people's respect. My days of being on top are not numbered. Yours are. And then later in the show, you get the Rock interview. Michael Cole is interviewing him instead of Kevin Kelly. Kevin Kelly's probably a little pussy boy now and doesn't want to be interviewing The Rock. So The Rock says the people made The Rock the people's champion. That's not exactly true because The Rock was calling himself that while
The Rock
people hated
declared
him.
himself that, yeah, when he was a fucking heel.
Right, he was being an asshole. He was saying he was the people's champion, ironically. He says The Rock, and The Rock goes on to call Kurt a whiny little bitch. The Rock says he will win and go on to WrestleMania. This Sunday night, there is no way out. Tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock. And then Rock actually states, the hours, how many hours until No Way Out, how many seconds until No Way Out. And I thought that was pretty damn cool because he was saying tick-tock, tick-tock, and he has the numbers down to when that match is going to happen. So, pretty damn good. Fuck, another good Rock promo. All right, so then Kurt Angle, he goes on. He has another hell of a promo on SmackDown 78, the go-home show, February 22nd. And as he comes out, the crowd is chanting, Angle sucks, Angle sucks. And Kurt says, a picture of him will be worth taking because you guys in the audience, you think taking a picture of me is a good thing to do because you think this is going to be the last time I'm wearing this championship belt on SmackDown. So he even poses for them like, oh, yeah, you think it's going to be worth something, but not going to happen. It's not going to be worth anything because I'm still going to be the champion. Then he goes on to say, tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock my ass. And then Kurt Angle brings up the WWE The Music Volume 5, and the fact that The Rock is on the cover of it, of course. And there's a piece of pie, and he has a song called Pie. And the song's with Slick Rick. And he plays a portion of the song, which we're going to play at the end of this. We're going to lead out with it. It's Slick Rick and The Rock, the song about pie. So they play it, and then Kurt Angle goes, what in the freaking heck was that? Like he's about to say fucking, but he says freaking instead. So he's like, what the freaking heck is that? So pretty funny. Worth going back to check out and definitely listen to all of its shittiness at the end of this episode. And then what happens here is historic. The crowd is chanting, you suck. Because Kurt Angle says, oh, that song sucks. Listen to my song from Volume 5. And it's just his theme music, his song, his regular song. So they play it, and nobody says anything. And then Angle says, oh, it's so good, let's play it again. Then the second time he plays it, the people start to say, you suck, you suck. The typical chant that we have to this very day whenever he comes out. So it starts here in Kansas City, Missouri, but it seemed like a total setup because the first time nothing happened like they expected the chant to start, and it didn't. So he had to play it again and get the chant started. So it seems like it might have been a setup in that there were plants in the crowd that were supposed to start it, and it just didn't pick up. So they had to play it again, and then maybe people were going to catch on. Like, all right, yeah, let's do it now, because those people were doing it. See, then once they played it, those same plants in the audience started saying it right away, and then others joined in finally. What do you? It seems like conspiracy theory, but it seems right.
I've never heard that before, but I guess it makes sense.
because they play it twice. They usually only play it twice if there's a mistake, and the chant was supposed to happen right away. So he got him going again, and then you finally get it. You suck. And then I guess from that point on, the fans are going to do that because now you heard it on SmackDown. Although, at the upcoming pay-per-view, the crowd doesn't do it in his opening. But starts here, but it seems like maybe it was set up, choreographed by WWE or WWF from the start. So who knows? Maybe just another Mike Prue conspiracy. So anyway, Angle says his actions will speak for himself, and we now move on to the pay-per-view. There is one last match, the no DQ match prior to this at SmackDown 78. It's Rock and Undertaker and Kane team up against Team Eck, Kurt Angle, Edge, and Christian. Nothing really there other than Angle does pin the Rock to get the win, and then applies the Angle lock at the very end of the show as the show ends, so Rock looks weak. Which always means, the Rock's going to win then. If he looks weak, just days before, he's not going to be weak at the show. So we get to the big match, and I don't want to run through everything because it is such a great match, and there's so many good spots, but JB, what do you have to say about this main event, WWF Championship match? Kurt Angle versus The Rock.
I thought it was good. I don't think it was good as the 3 Stages of Hell match.
Okay.
But the only thing what took me out of it was the ending of the match, where he has to rock bottom him twice.
Oh,
because I don't see the elbow kick, like the shoulder. I mean, come up.
Yeah,
But apparently Earl Hebner does see it.
Yeah, that sucked.
It almost seemed like Hebner fucked up.
Yeah, it's like he should have just made the 3 count right there.
Yeah, I didn't care enough to watch it twice and double check to see if the shoulder came up, but it definitely didn't look like it came up. Yeah. And it was weird that they would want The Rock to have to rock bottom him twice.
Yeah. Right, that doesn't seem to make sense, and I guess the sense that I tried to make out of it was that they wanted Kurt Angle, after all this time, he was the champion for 5 months or so, they actually want him to kind of look strong at the very end of his reign. So, all right, he'll take 2 rock bottoms, so he just doesn't look like a chump, losing so clean to the rock bottom. That he was able to just sneak out a little shoulder up. So if somebody could have screwed up. It could have been Earl, could have been Kurt that didn't really move enough to make it noticeable for the crowd to actually recognize. Maybe because Kurt Angle didn't want to. He probably wanted to do it so lightly, or he didn't want to move as much because he didn't want to make the rock bottom look like shit. You know what I mean? By just jumping out of it.
Yep.
So he probably tried to do it subtle. But too subtle because we didn't even fucking notice that he kicked out. So it could be a combination of that. But a few things that I had to point out in the match was, first off, we start off Mike Chioda as the ref. But Mike Chioda is going to end up getting chokeslammed by the Big Show. So fucking Big Show comes out randomly in this match. Not really randomly because he has issues with The Rock because of Royal Rumble. So they have their issues, but Big Show comes out, chokeslams Mike Chioda, The Rock, and Kurt Angle. The referees come down and try to assist Mike Chioda. And this stood out to me because I knew it was happening. I was like, all right, Earl's going to take over, of course. But the way he does, it's just kind of funny. I couldn't even really get mad about it. It was just pretty funny. So, Tim White and Earl are holding Mike Chioda, walking him to the back. And we have a situation where Kurt Angle is going for a cover in the ring at that exact time. In there, the camera is on the refs, and you can see Earl turn his head to the ring to see that somebody's being covered, and he just moves and goes to go into the ring and just drops Mike Chioda, who's just injured, and he was trying to help him. He just lets him fall and drops, and he goes into the ring to try to make the count, but it's only a 2 count. Geez. And then from there, he takes over. So fucking Earl's like, I gotta get in there. I gotta get in this match. And just let my buddy fall here. So that was one thing that stood out. It was being pretty funny. And then we had that series of exchange, bunch of back and forth moves like you were saying, and kickouts. Oh yeah, the ending, just kind of. It was so good, and then why do you have to confuse us at the end with that? So The Rock wins. He becomes the new WWF champion. Kurt Angle is crying as he leaves the ringside area. He heads back, and The Rock is celebrating. The crowd loves it. Hell of a match, yeah, right up there. So 2 great matches on this show. No Way Out, definitely a pay-per-view worth watching. 2001 is awesome at this point. Royal Rumble was damn good, and so was No Way Out. And now we're leading up to Mania, and we know how that's going to be. Mania is going to be good, obviously. So they start off their first quarter of the year nailing every pay-per-view. So good shit in early 2001 with WWF. With that said, so we set the stage here. It's The Rock and Austin going to be on a collision course in the weeks to come. Well, we're going to start to wrap things up here. JV, any final words on that before we get into our wrap-up?
Ready for WrestleMania.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's going to be a slow build. We're not just going to be there in the next episode, but we're going to take our time and get there properly and just break down this great road to Mania. Oh, that video package is going to be coming up.
Can't wait.
Oh, awesome shit. All right, so let's now get into the bottom line wrap-up. And we'll begin with the house show rundown. And there is nothing because there were no house shows because we only covered this last week. So there was the Raw, SmackDown, and then pay-per-view. They didn't tour during that week. They usually don't tour in the days before the pay-per-view. So that'll now bring us to the oh hell yeah moment of the week. I'll go first. I think we're going to have the same. But my oh hell yeah, I mean it has to be. We didn't cover a whole lot. And I want to keep it with Austin. It's the 3 stages of hell match. It's got to be the oh hell yeah moment of this week. Yeah, so no disagreement there. That is the heart of this episode, the heart of what we covered, and it was a damn good thing. It wasn't a letdown. So 3 stages of hell match. Triple H has found a new respect for me at this time. 2001. I had grown to like him years later, but at this point, I didn't really like him much, and this is one step forward in being behind Triple H a little bit more as a big star in the WWF.
Oh, hell no!
We'll move on now to the oh hell no moment of the week. JV, do you want to go first?
Yes, so my oh hell no is just going to be, it's a little different than usual because it's not really an event, but more or less the way WWE set up this last week heading into the pay-per-view. So what we had discussed, in hindsight, I feel like my hell no is the fact that they didn't have the ending of Raw as the ending of SmackDown.
All right, so just kind of
like a booking
writing out of place. Yeah, booking.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. And we did, we talked about that, of course. And
it really wasn't much.
Didn't flow as well.
I don't know.
Like it would be easy to just cut and paste and flip it, and it would be all right. That makes
sense. Yeah. Especially looking at your notes, and be like, oh, they should have just.
You're right. Yeah, we could have just told the story that way, and it probably would have been better. Yeah, so I like that one. My oh hell no moment of the week is going to be the all of a sudden change of Stephanie, who was once sticking up for her mother and mad at her father because her father was sleeping with Trish and disrespecting her mother, to going from that to all of a sudden saying that she worked hard with Vince to get her to this state so that she could be the woman in charge in the McMahon family. So that was oh hell no, because that was just a random change out of nowhere for no fucking reason, and it's so clear that anybody that's been watching for the few weeks would know that drastic change with nothing connected to it. No explanation. Just that's what it is now. I did that. Okay, why? What? Why are you mad at your dad then?
What's the reason?
Yeah. So that's my oh hell no. Right. Makes no sense. So I guess it's 2 booking oh hell no moments this week. So nothing stupid that just happened. It's just poor writing. Poor planning is what happened here on this week's oh hell no moment of the week. All right, so from there, I'll give you a little update on what's coming up here in the Bottom Line Wrestling Cast. Next week's episode, June 24th, we will be releasing the second installment of the special edition series, The Hollywood Blondes. The first episode came out back in January, on January 1st, and it's been 6 months, just about. So figure it's time, and it's a nice time to take a break as we're on the road to WrestleMania after this week. So kind of like a buffer between heading on the road to WrestleMania. You'll get our continuation of the Hollywood Blonde story, and it's episode 2. It's called Chase for the Gold, and we'll be covering January through April of 1993. So Pillman and Austin are teamed up. They're not exactly the Hollywood Blondes yet, but they're teaming up, and they're going to be on the path to winning the tag team titles and becoming the Hollywood Blondes. So that's what we'll be covering next week on the Bottom Line Wrestling Cast. And then the following week, on July 1st, the road to WrestleMania begins, and we'll cover Raw and SmackDowns from February 26th through March 8th. And then the following week, on July 8th, will be episode 78. We will cover Raw and SmackDown from March 12th to March 22nd. And then on July 15th, episode 79, we get to WrestleMania. So we'll have the go-home shows for Raw and SmackDown to cover. And then we got WrestleMania X7, Austin versus The Rock, from April 1st. We'll do it the same way we did this show. So we'll cover the Austin stuff first from Raw and SmackDown, then talk about the match. And then in the Attitude Era update, we'll talk about all the other WrestleMania matches and the storylines building up to those matches in those last 2 episodes of Raw and SmackDown prior to WrestleMania. And then we also will do separately a watch along, because we got to, right? We got to do the watch along Austin versus The Rock as its own thing, because that's a show that people just want to watch along with and just go right to a watch along, not have to listen to a bunch of other stuff. Just give me the match. So that's why we'll do a special edition watch along for that. And that's what we have going forward. That I just laid it out for you for the next month. Okay, all the way up to July 18th. So that's what's coming up here on the Bottom Line Wrestling Cast. Good shit coming up here in this month as we start the summer. All right, so let's do some podcast plugs before we get out of here. Check out Talking Taker with Alex and Travis as they are covering the career of The Undertaker pay-per-view by pay-per-view. Follow them on Twitter at Talking Taker. And this week, coming up, they will be doing the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view from 2009. It's the first Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. And it's The Undertaker versus CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship. CM Punk is the heavyweight champion at that point. And they will be in a Hell in a Cell. So check them out, Talking Taker. Also, special shout out to Mike Mills, Booking the Territory, the Unprofessional Wrestling Podcast, where Mike and Doc and Harper are every Thursday breaking down NWA World Championship Wrestling episodes. This week is February 4th, 1989. Again, that's on Thursday. On Sunday, this Sunday, very special episode for them. In their coverage of Smoky Mountain Wrestling, it's episode 200 from November 26, 1995. It is the final episode of Smoky Mountain Wrestling. So that'll conclude their journey through Smoky Mountain Wrestling, episodes 1 through 200. All done. So that'll be their last regular Sunday show. As I've said before, they're not going to do another show. They'll do some bonus and extra stuff, but no more weekly Sunday show. And they deserve it. 200 episodes of Smoky Mountain Wrestling is a hell of a lot. And definitely worth to go back, though. If you don't think you like Smoky Mountain, you might not, but go back and listen to them commentating about it because they're funny as fuck. So check them out. Booking the Territory, the Unprofessional Wrestling Podcast. BTT_podcast is where you can find them on Twitter. Also, check out Our Vantage Point, the Retro Wrestling Podcast, where this week is a special break episode Okay, so they've just concluded a season. Every 10 episodes is a season. So they just concluded that, and they take a 1-week break prior to a new season. But they provide content. And this week, during their break episode, it's a review of Invasion 92, the Coliseum home video. So check that out. That's available now at our Vantage Point Retro Wrestling Podcast with Joe Morado and Michael Quinn. Also, check out our friend Jay Free from Free Your Geek. And you can follow him at JFree82. Yeah, JFree82. And you can follow his show, Free Your Geek, at Free Your Geek. So check out that. Go subscribe to his show and check out some of his past episodes. Talks about all different things like video games, movies, TV, even wrestling sometimes. So check out Free Your Geek. And then lastly, check out our show on the Book in the Territory. $5 tier, Patreon. Give it a shot. Sign up for it for a month. Try out all the content they have, but also definitely check out our show on the $5 tier, the Extreme ECW Live Cast. Coming out today, it's our newest episode. It's episode 26, where we are breaking down watch-along style ECW Hardcore TV episodes 54 through 56. So it's a jumbo-size episode where we are watching April 26th, May 3rd, and May 10th, 1994 of ECW Hardcore TV. All right, with that said, thanks guys for listening. And as always, remember next week is Hollywood Blondes, and then the road to WrestleMania continues after that. JV, any final words for Thomas Richard Harrison? Thomas Richard Harry?
No.
No words. Still again. He did comment. He said, because I did mention that, like, oh, he's such a heel. So he did tweet out. He put, well, he's a good heel, though.
Nice.
So there's that. All right. So take care, everybody. We'll be back next week. So long.
And that's the bottom line. And as far as I'm concerned, this is over with, so get the hell out of here.
You know, The Rock's gonna tell you a little story. You ain't gonna believe it, but he's gonna tell you anyway. It's tough to be The Rock. No, shut your mouth. No. It really is. Even though The Rock is the most electrifying man in all of showbiz. You see, when The Rock gets too much of the fame and all the bright lights, he likes to kick back and have a slice of that unadulterated delight.
Welcome to Rick's Bakery. Can I help? Wait a minute. Aren't you the famous Rock?
Yeah, The Rock, the people's champ in the house. What's happening,
God,
Slick?
hey, how you doing, guy? Listen, you got to take a picture before you leave, guy.
Whoa. The Rock don't want to take pictures. The Rock just wants a piece of pie. You got any of that in this bakery?
I got every kind of pie you could think of. I got strawberry pie, blueberry pie, apple pie.
What? Oh, no. Whoa. Actually, Slick, it doesn't matter what type of pie you have. Let The Rock tell you a little story about pie. Driving down south, though quickly aroused when my car caught a flat near this old farmhouse. I hope somebody's home, taking a chance at it. Knocked on the door and this fine chick answered.
You're The Rock!
Can I use your phone?
I'm shaking. Sure, if you try some of this pie I'm baking.
Daisy Duke shorts on 5 foot stood. Said sure, what the heck, I mean it did smell good.
So as you call Rock in the kitchen towards the vapor.
There's a grandmother, aunt, and a Chinese neighbor. Oh, The Rock is going to tell you again. See, it's tough to be The Rock. Yeah, The Rock knows. That might sound crass. Oh, and by the way, all you jabronis in the locker room, you can all come kiss The Rock's ass. Because you know after The Rock lays a smackdown on some big, fat, ugly hermaphrodite, The Rock needs a little distraction. And a slice sounds just right.
The Rock said,
Thanks, ladies.
and more kind words. Grandmother said,
Be polite, eat mine first. So I sat down, tried her. She looked quite glad. Had a strange taste of mold, but it wasn't so bad.
that's right.
The Rock, having pie in the country, devoured hers her aunts, and Stella was hungry.
That's all Rock said?
Bored and reading the papers, till finally a plate of the next door neighbors. Gulped it down fast, cause it really did please.
I mean, it tasted so good, Rock was talking Chinese.
Ching bong, bing, gong, bing, gong, aye. That good pie.
Oh, that's the pie you was talking about.
Oh yeah, The Rock knows the millions can smell it now. tough to be The Rock. No, it really is. Because you all know The Rock is the most electrifying man in all of showbiz. You see, when The Rock gets too much of the fame and all the bright lights, he loves to kick back and have a slice. No. The Rock is gonna eat the whole